Hello everyone, it's Miss Monk here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to edit your images that you should have saved into your account using an app called Photopea. Now then, before we get started, what I want you to do is open up PowerPoint, okay, because you're going to be producing a little folder, a little bit like this, okay, just to store all your edits. Okay, and should be an ongoing PowerPoint. Okay, so you can see here I've just got the three slides with some basic editing on, but I want you to experiment with things like double exposure and collage. Okay, so you could imagine there might even be like 10 slides overall on this PowerPoint. All right, so you want to go into File, New. You all know how to do this. Okay, and you want to, I always like to have me a nice new blank slide. And then you'll add the title. So look what I've put there, editing my images. So you can just use my PowerPoint if you want. There's a bit of guidance. And then what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to go and I'm going to copy and paste the image that I intend to edit first. Okay, so I'm going to go on to my files. I'm going to find wherever I've saved my images. Okay, so you can see here I've got my image of my tiger. And then I'll just right click, copy it, paste it across, shrink down, always shrink down from the corners. Okay, you don't want to manipulate the image. And I'm going to call that original image. Okay, so on this PowerPoint as well, I want to see you annotating. Rightio, so I'm going to show you now how to open up Photopea. So Photopea will be in your browser, okay, so you don't have to download anything at all, okay? So I'm going to type in Photopea. I'm going to click on that there, all right, and it's just like Photoshop. Okay, so if you've used Photoshop a lot in lesson, then you should be a whiz at this. And there's also so many amazing YouTube tutorials out there on this too. So I'm going to start off with some basic edits, and I'm just going to show you today how to do some basic edits. Okay, all the fancy stuff I will perhaps do some YouTube tutorials in the future, or I will upload some links at the end of the lesson PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to go into File, Open, and then I'm going to search where I saved my images. Okay, so I'm going to go to that original image there, press open like so. Okay, so you can see here I have opened up my tiger image. What I am now going to do is I'm going to do some basic editing. So I'm going to just crop it down ever so slightly. Okay, using the crop tool. If you just hover over these tools here, okay, you can sort of see, it tells you what sort of effect you can get with that particular tool. Once you've cropped it down, so I've used the fourth option down. Oh no, it's the fifth one. Sorry. Cropped it down and I've pressed tick there. So I've just cropped it ever so slightly. And then if I go onto image and adjustments, you'll see here. Whoops. I've got all these different options to play around with, okay? So on your first slide, all I want you to do is what we call some basic edits. So you can see here, I've just brightened up the image ever so slightly, and then I've added saturation here, and then I've added contrast. So I'm going to really quickly show you how I made this slide really effective and really well, how I made it really quickly basically. Okay, so I've gone onto image, I've gone onto adjustments, so I've gone onto exposure. So exposure is all about how much light is hitting the image, and I'm going to up it, and you see there how the image has gone a little bit brighter. Okay, I might have a little play around with the offset. So the offset is quite similar to contrast. Okay, so you can see there how it's darkened up some of the areas. Again, I'm going to use the tools together. We'll see what this gamma correction does. Okay, once it looks good, press OK. And then what I'm going to do is, rather than save it, I'm just going to screenshot it. Okay, so you'll notice on your keyboard you will have a print screen button. It's usually to the right hand side of your keyboard. I'm going to press that. I'm going to go to my PowerPoint. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste it across. Okay, and what I'm then going to do is I'm going to crop it down. Now, I'm not going to be doing this for every edit I show you today. You need to make sure you are doing this as you go along, okay? So it's up to you to make sure you do this and don't forget to do it because this gets you marks because it shows your development and it shows your experimentation, okay? So it's really important that you do sort of track your journey. All right then, so you can see there the subtle difference between those images. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to annotate underneath that image there and I'm going to say what I did. Okay, so with this image, enhanced contrast. Sorry, the exposure to make the image more crisp. Okay, right. Then what you're going to do is go back to Photopea, okay? And then you can have a little go at all the other editing tools, okay? So image adjustments, all right? I am going to go to vibrance, okay? So that allows me to then play around with the colour. All right, so you can see when I pull up the vibrance or I push down the vibrance, it goes either more intense or more light, okay? And then the saturation really makes the colour intense, okay? If you click on preview here, it goes back to the original so you can compare. All right, you can see there's quite a big difference there. What I'm going to do then is I'll print screen and I'll copy it on here, okay? But it's up to you guys to do that. So I'm going to go back to Photopea. Okay, here as well, we're just going to have a look at some of the more tools before I leave you to it. Brightness and contrast is really good. Contrast is really good for like black and white portraits, okay? So if you up that, you can see there how the dark areas have gone really dark and the light areas have gone really light, okay? So contrast is a really nice one to play around with. Another one is turning the image black and white, okay? So I'll go on adjustments and then black and white. There we go. Okay. Now you'll notice on my PowerPoint, I have done 3 basic edits. I've experimented with some cropping. Okay, so screenshot it as you go along. If you edit it and you don't like it or you're not going to use it, if you go on to edit, undo, that will take you a step backwards. Okay. And if you once you get an image that you're really happy with and you're like, yes, I've come to an end of this with this image, you need to go on to file, export as, don't go on to save as, that'll save it as a Photoshop document, okay? And you need to go to JPG, okay, so JPEG, all right? And then I would definitely say up the quality, okay? The sort of the downfall with Photopea is the quality is maybe not perhaps as good as Photoshop. So it's really good for experimentation, okay? Save, and then you'll notice down to the bottom of my left screen there, the image has downloaded. Scanning for viruses. And once it's done, open the file, right click, and save as. So that might be an image that you decide to print out at a later date or do something with. Okay. So that was just a quick whistle stop tour. There we go. It's quite late at night now. On how to do some basic edits using Photopea. Okay, just make sure you screenshot as you go along, copy and paste it onto a PowerPoint, and annotate it saying what you have done. Okay, I will probably do this for a couple of your images, and then if you're enjoying it, I want you to try some new methods, okay? So I've posted some more tutorials on the PowerPoint. Okay, let us see your results. Enjoy.